Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to New Year 2022. I am Evelyn Carmona with Sheimpacts globally, and I am excited to start the new year's off with each and every one of you. You can find me on social media platforms as Sheimpacts globally. Welcome to my group, StrongHer Impact. And if you are following me here on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, comment. You can do a great service by supporting me, by just giving me a like, and adding someone to like this page or this group or this YouTube channel. I certainly thank you so much. I've been a little bit under the weather, but I am so grateful even in that because, sometimes God just needs us to sit still, to be quiet, to do some self-healing and allow ourselves to get clear on what the plans are for the new year of 2022. So I wanted to jump on here today just to talk to everyone and introduce this new Healer's Corner that God has placed on my heart. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where this may go, but also to deliver and bring you the message that God has for each and every one of us. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because this just might not resonate with no goddamn body. Okay? So as I continue on with sharing today's topic, I want to start out with just letting you know that, we are all highly connected. We have a connection to the heavenly realms, the heavenly helpers. And I believe that this year, 2022, will be a wake-up call for most of us. We are actually tapping into and discovering what our life purpose is and what this journey has been about, from the lessons, the teachings, the blessings, the removals, the add-ons, the distractions, the disturbances, all of those things have come now to that wake-up call so that we can all move forward in our lives, right? And we all have a support team. And I like to think that even in our support team, whether it be family, friends, loved ones, our social media platforms, or, knowing that we are connected to a divine high source of power, our support team, and 2 minds are always better than 1, and 3 minds are always better than 2, and 4 minds are just unstoppable. So to have that support system and support team in place as we come into this new year and as we go along on this journey is going to be very significant on this journey, so that we are not faced with this power struggle that many struggle on a day-to-day, whether it be between 2 or more people, 2 or more things, 2 or more situations, 2 or more decisions that need to be made. We are not bound and should not allow ourselves to remain bound by the power struggle that we may have within ourselves. So most people I discovered, even including within myself, on my journey, that there were many voids that were there, right? Many voids of that power struggle that I myself struggled with, and it's my truth and my story. That void is present in so many people's lives, right? And that is where that power struggle comes in. It's a void in our lives, whether it is a void of love, compassion, peace, tranquility, happiness, joy, success, health-wise, being healthy in our lives, making sound decisions, or, living in our past trauma and pain. But that void sometimes causes people to find themselves in addictions, whether they are addicted to eating, whether they are addicted to, exercising, working out, whether they are addicted to being lonely and staying in a box and not allowing themselves to network, whether they are in a void and filling that void through addictions, and addictions can be, whether it's drugs, alcohol abuse. We find ourselves filling that void with so many different addictions because we find ourselves along that journey, dealing with power struggle. Yet not realizing that we are connected to the higher source. This is our wake-up call, and that we have a support team who are in place, in the heavenly realms to help us and assist us on this journey. So even if those family and friends are not there or available to be a strong support system for you, God knows the plan. He knows the way. He knows exactly what is coming, what is going to be going away. He knows he hears what you don't hear, and he sees what you don't. So trust in a divine source to be your support system, even when your family and friends and those, you consider to be a part of your support system are not there for you. But maybe they're dealing with their own power struggle, or maybe they're trying to fill their own voids, and they're dealing with that on their own sense and level of while they're on their own personal journey. But I'm here to tell you that when we are calming our mind, calming the waters of our mind, and allowing ourselves to connect with our higher selves, right? To connect with our divine source, and to connect with that support team that we have in place to help us not go into that void and cause ourselves to be in addictions, but to dig deeper within ourselves, to give ourselves that calm in our mind that we are powerful, we are connected to a higher source, and that God always sends us everything we need according to his plan, right? So there's no need for the chitter chatter in our minds. There's no need for the resentment in our hearts. There's no need for the doubt that we feel that is deep down within our souls, that people may have put on our lives, or that we may have picked up along the way through life experiences. That we must calm our mind, and that may be through meditation and prayer, or giving yourself that time that you need to reflect and to just enjoy the outdoor sceneries and embrace the beauty of God's nature, and receiving the positive energies that we need so that we can move forward. Restlessness, in restlessness where we are actually freeing our mind to be clear, right? To receive the downloads that we need, and having a different perspective on life, right? We're getting ready to have a shift in perception that will change everything in our lives. A lot of times we don't allow that perception to happen because we are so accustomed to thinking one way and doing things one way that we believe that our way is always a right way, but our way is not always a right way. God's way is the best way, right? But when we take time out to reflect on our own journey and our own story, we will kind of see the difference in perspective on our lives, but also the lives around those that are around us, knowing that, even in that perception, that we may have to clean out our environment, right? We may have to declutter and clean out the space and around us, whether it be in our relationships, whether it be in our situationships, whether it be on the job, in our businesses, our goals, with our families and our home. We have got to do some cleaning out of the environment in order for us to have a clear perception, right? So that we can clear out our mind, so that we are not filling the voids with addictions, bad behaviors, or negative impacts within our own lives, and then putting that out into the world, creating more karma that may surface, down the road, because karma does show back up. It's like, that's inevitable. What we put out into the world eventually will come back. It's either going to be good karma or it's going to be bad karma. But there's no need for us to go through the power struggle when we have such a strong support team that is supporting us in the heavenly realms. And this is our wake-up call, that we are connected to a higher divine source, right? So we must clean out our environment in order to have that perception and to be clear. we are all given this magic touch that is within us, right? We are all able to access that magic touch that is deep within ourselves, right? To self-heal, to self-reflect, to self-absorb, to be self-determined, to be self-motivated, to set those goals. We have the magic touch within ourselves, and we cannot be afraid to tap in. And that may require, both healing of the spirit as well as healing of the soul. A lot of times we misunderstand that there are two different things here we are discussing when it comes to the spirit and when it comes to the soul, right? The spirit is your energy, right? The spirit is, the way you're feeling, if you're up or if you're down, if you're high, if you're low, if you're in doubt, if you're in fear, or if you are, confident and you are strong and you are knowing that you are all powerful, that's your spirit. Your spirit either is alive or your spirit is on the low, right? And so you have the potential and the ability to tap into, your inner being, right? To tap into your magic, right? Within yourself, to either level up and elevate your spirit and your energy that is around you, right? By cleaning out your environment, by having that perception, by clearing out your mind, by not filling those voids with addictions, by avoiding power struggles, by, connecting with the higher source so you can get clarity and clearance, on what your decision should be or which way you should go. But, having that clear spirit, knowing that forgiveness is a must and that it's not always for other people, but it's for ourselves, and, tapping into the realm of the universe and everything that God provides for us, and, making sure that our spirit is aligned with joy, peace, and happiness, love, abundance, overflow, all the things that God has promised us. And we must make sure that our spirit is aligned, and that means that our energy needs to be aligned in a high vibration, okay? And then you have your soul, where your soul is your root, the deep root of, your struggles, your pain, your sorrow, your grief, your torment, things that were in the past, things that hurted you, things that when you felt betrayed and you felt, people, disappointed you, all of those things, they kind of settle down in our soul, and they kind of take captive of, where we're going and how we make our decisions and how we fill those voids, and if we're going to be on a high vibration or a low vibration, or if we're able to actually tap into that magic that we have within ourselves by connecting with our higher selves to heal the soul, right? The soul needs to be healed so that the spirit can live, right? The soul has to be healed. So that means, we may have to tap into doing some shadow work, having understanding of those triggers that trigger us. Why are they there? Where did they come from? How do you face them? Do you, learning how to apologize to yourself for allowing those things to happen to you, or allowing those people to get that close to you. Going through that phase of healing your soul so that your spirit can live, and so that you are aligned completely and you can walk into your divine purpose. Now, shadow work is really, really deep, and it's part of my truths and my story, because even as this year last year 2021 and 2020 has passed by, there was a lot of trials and tribulations even in my life, and there were a lot of stumbling blocks, and I didn't understand them at the moment. And of course, we hardly ever do. We're trying to get that understanding. Like, why am I here? Why is this happening? Or why, is this coming, against me? Or why am I still in a repeated cycle? And that is because, we have got to do some shadow work. We've got to understand who we are and not who the world perceives us to be, or who they made us to be, right? Because a lot of times, we find ourselves in our lives and on our journey of being who everyone else needs us to be and not who we need to authentically be, right? Because we are dealing with, silencing our voice. Why are we silencing our voice? What caused us to silence our voice? Is that rooted? What is it? What is that that's deep down within our souls that need to be touched on and healed so that we can break free, so that we can live in divine purpose, so that we can live that peaceful and purposeful life that God has already ordained and planned for us, right? Sometimes we're in our own way, self-sabotaging ourselves because we are dealing with these things that cause our soul to be depleted, or to cause our soul to bury some of the things that may have happened in our lives, or may have been said in our lives, or may have been done in our lives, whether it be other beings or our own doings, that has caused that to settle, go into hiding, and make you believe that it's gone, when in reality it's not gone. Right? So we have to tap into being able to also heal and nurture the soul. And that comes with that magic touch. We all have that magic touch. We just have to be willing to do the work, right? We just have to be willing to do the work, because we are all been blessed with that magic touch. Many of us have those amazing spiritual gifts, whether it's intuitively, whether you're a prophetess, whether you are just, whatever your gifts are, what they are. And I'm sure that God has been showing you your gifts along your journey. And sometimes those challenges that we endure and we go through will reveal those gifts, right? Those gifts that we have: gift of love, gift of peace, gift of intuition, gift of perception, right? Gift of spiritual being, that spiritual awakening. We have those gifts that are within us. And as we're healing and as we're going through the challenges of life, we can't look at those challenges as a challenge. We have to look at it as, is there a lesson in this that I need to learn? And out of this, what have I, or what can I learn or grow into or grow through or grow with that will align me with what my spiritual gifts are? We are not here to tell everybody our spiritual gifts, because not everybody understands, when you are on a spiritual journey, what, when you tap into your spiritual gifts, what those spiritual gifts are. And if you are aware of your spiritual gifts, it's best to make sure that we're using our spiritual gifts for God's purpose, right? To make sure that we are always in the light, that we are always calling on the divine and the highest white light, and be grateful for these gifts and use the gifts wisely. We are tapping into, and we should be developing and fine-tuning our gifts, right? Taking that time out to give yourself that self-care, that self-love, filling yourself up with joy, doing the things that make you happy, and stepping out of the realm of always pleasing other people, stepping into your true authenticity, loving on yourself like nobody could ever love you, forgetting about the past, letting go of anything that no longer serves you, and just being grateful for the gifts that God has given you, even in the lessons that you have been shown, right? Letting go of repeated cycles, closing out chapters, and allowing the healing process to happen, and understanding that even when you have those spiritual gifts, that fine-tuning them also means that it's a process. They have to be fine-tuned. So there's going to be a process through your healing, whether it is your spiritual gifts or healing your soul, or aligning your spirit to be on a high vibration. Okay. This is a process. It's not an overnight thing. And, we cannot continue to sit around and point fingers at other people, for the things that they do, because if we have the perception that God has given us, by calming our mind, we know that everybody goes through their journey and have their own story, right? Some people can get it, and some people will take longer to get that some changes need to be made. Some people stay in comfort zone and some people tap out of comfort zone. They're willing to allow change to happen in their lives, and they're not pointing the fingers, but they're looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, okay, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me. What is it that I'm attracting? What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I'm giving? What is it that I'm not giving? Because it's not always other people. Sometimes, like I said, it's us. We're self-sabotaging our relationships with our loved ones. We're self-sabotaging our relationships with our friends. We're self-sabotaging our relationships with our significant others, our children, and most importantly, with ourselves and God, our connection with the divine source that gives us these spiritual gifts so that we can fine tune what we need so that we can live the life that God has already planned for us. But if we're always in our own way, the cycle will continue to repeat. And even with the cycle repeating, I look at that as generational curses. We don't talk about that much. But generational curses do exist. What our ancestors did, how they handled certain situations, what they showed us, what they spoke on us, if they were in prayer, if they were doing good, or if they put out bad into the world, right? It kind of like settles and then it goes on because we're either taught their ways and their doings, and then we continue to do those things, right? And be those ways. And then we pass them down to our children and our children and then our children. And those are curses that must be broken. But because God is so faithful and we are connected with the divine source, when we tap into our support team and realize that this is a wake-up call, that there may be a power struggle and we are filling the void with addictions, and we are not calming our mind, and we are not seeing things through perception, and we have not cleaned or cleared out or decluttered our environment, we have not tapped into our magic within ourselves, and we're not fine-tuning our spiritual gifts, we're going to lose the battle. We're not going to get aligned for purpose, and we're going to stay in that cycle. So we must not continue to self-sabotage ourselves and allow the fine-tuning of the magic touch of our spirits, our gifts, our perception, and to release the power struggle that we have within ourselves. Okay, so now I just want to talk a little bit about, maybe some of us, are entrepreneurs, and maybe you have goals and you have dreams for 2022. Maybe these goals and these dreams were put in place for you 2020, 2021, or maybe even before then. There may have been some challenges. There may have been some distractions. There may have been some setbacks. But I'm here to tell you that you are walking into your divine purpose on purpose. Everything has been set up for you to go through to increase your character, to increase your capabilities, to increase your abilities to move forward on this journey, right? To step into the opportunities of the unseen that are going to unfold for you in 2022, right? Once you are clear, once you have done the work, once you have allowed the process, once you have tapped into your spiritual gifts, once you have connected to your higher source, once you have stopped self-sabotaging and filling the voids through addictions and calmed your mind through meditations and prayers, right? And connecting yourself to a high vibration, positive energy, positive thoughts every day, whether it be through a meditation, prayer, spiritual baths, just sitting back, taking time for you, walking and taking and enjoying the nature that is outside, right, guys? This is all about stepping into that entrepreneurship. Finally, taking that time out to go into hibernation if you need to. Pull yourself away from things that have been a distraction, in your life, and then sit back and analyze, what needs to be removed? What has been a block? What has been in the way? What is no longer serving you? What is no longer making you happy? What is stopping you from being creative? What is stopping you? Most of the time it's us, but there's times that there's other people people, places, or things, right? That we have got to remove ourselves from, and we have got to allow the universe and God to remove for us, right? Because as I said before, God sees what we don't and he hears what we don't, okay? He hears what we do not hear. So God always sends us the signs and the miracles and the wonders that we need and that we ask for. We pray and we don't think that our prayers are being answered, but God is an on-time God. He always sends us exactly what we need at the right appointed time. And again, like I said, sometimes we have to go through this process because we're trying to do things our own way, and God is saying, well, okay, I'll let you do what you think you should be doing, and I'll be right here when you need me, right? I am here with you always, but you're going to have to go through this because I'm trying to teach you a lesson that you're not willing to learn. So because you're not, you're going to be stuck in this cycle until you get it, right? So he sends us these signs. He sends us guidance. He sends us, what it is that we need at the right appointed time. But if we're not paying attention to what God is sending us and how he's answering our prayers, we're going to miss the season. We're going to miss the closing of those cycles. We're going to miss that the chapter is needing to be closed, and we should be closing those chapters and opening up a new chapter because we are the author of our chapters, right? And he also sends us signs through angels, through our angels who, I'm so excited because, as I continue on my own personal journey, I have learned that angel numbers are a big thing for God. Okay, he sends us angel numbers every single day. He sends us signs, even if they're not through angel numbers. He always sends us signs, whether it be through a confirmation. You could have prayed for something, said something, or be hoping and desiring for something, and someone you may have a conversation with, or you may be standing in line at a supermarket. Something may have been posted on social media that you scrolled upon, and it may be the answer to what you were thinking, and you're like, right? These people don't know you. They don't know what your thoughts are. They don't know what your desires are, but God does, and he sends it. So it's up to you to pay attention to the confirmation and the answer that God sends. And even through the angel numbers, God sends us the directions that we need. So when those angel numbers come through, whatever your thoughts are, at that moment that you might see that number, whether it be on your phone, whether it be on your clock, whether it be while you're driving on somebody's plate or an address, those numbers, they show up, and they show up to guide us. Okay, those numbers show up to give you direction. So when you're thinking that thought or you're feeling that feeling, right, that sign may show up. That number may show up. You can just thank God for sending you help. Pray and meditate on that thought at that moment, right? And then you can always research and find out more about why you continue to see those numbers, right? Why you continue to see those certain things that continue to show up, right? It can be a certain bird, it can be a certain animal, it can be a certain number, it can be a certain song, it can be certain things that God repetitively send your way to guide you on your journey so that you can elevate, right? So that you can gain the answers and the intuition that you need so that you can wake up that third eye chakra, right? That you can allow those downloads to come through, right? And that you can allow the healing that you need for the other parts of your chakra so that you can move forward in your divine purpose. I am so blessed to be intuitively connected with myself, my higher source, and knowing that, God is making a way. And I'm grateful that I'm able to come on here today and share this Healer's Corner with you, that today is Happy New Year 2022. So we're going to walk into our divine purpose. We're going to get back into alignment if we are not. And we are going to stop self-sabotaging ourselves by filling the voids with addictions. And we're going to stop allowing our minds to be cluttered, right, with negative thoughts and past experiences. That is null and void. It no longer serves you. Deal with it, face it, forgive yourself, and move on, right? Forgive yourself and move on. It is time to clear out and declutter your environment so that you can have a better perception of where God is taking you on your journey to your best self, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. I love you all, but as I always say, God loves you all more. Listen, be sure to like this video. That's your way of showing your support. You know, you don't have to comment, but giving a like, it kind of moves it in the algorithm, and it helps this message get out to not just you, but to other people. If you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe where that bell is, so that when I upload more videos, you can get that notification and come on over and get your message from the Healer's Corner so that you can continue on your journey through the year of 2022. And if you are in our closed group on social media, be sure to invite other sisters. You know, this is more so dedicated to everybody, but more so to the ladies, you know, because I am a woman, I am she is me, I am her. Okay, and together we will become StrongHer and become a StrongHer impact. I love you all. God bless y'all. And remember, Happy 2022.